Think about it. You just graduated from high school, and instead of packing your things to go to college, you are packing a single duffel bag on your way to the local army camp because you have just been drafted to go to France for World War I. You have a few tough weeks, physically and emotionally challenging training ahead of you, but nowhere near the amount you need to be a good, knowledgeable soldier. What if, God forbid, there was a draft, with me and Sydney's plan in effect? You would still be packing that single duffel bag and going to a training camp, but you would have the training behind you to have a chance of surviving, unlike the boy in the previous scenario on his way to France with no experience. Resolve that the U.S. government should mandate a minimum of 1 year military service for both men and women. To be more precise, a military is an organization authorized by its country to use force, usually including the use of weapons, in defending its country by combating actual or perceived threats. Militaries often function as societies within societies by having their own military communities, economies, education, medicine, and other aspects of a functioning civilian society. Currently, the countries of Austria, Chile, China, Germany, Greece, Iran, Israel, Mexico, and plenty of other countries are using a mandatory military system, as stated by NolanChart.com. These countries prove that conscription, when handled properly, can be an asset to the military, the society, and the conscript. The idea of a mandatory military has come across the government's mind to pass this law. However, it hasn't happened just yet. The main idea is that every able-bodied citizen, both men and women, should honorably serve at least 1 year in the United States military from the age span of 18 to 42 years of age. Along with just joining the military, you can enter the military branch of your liking, request to be trained in a specific field, and serve in the state of your choice. You basically have it all going for you. And to those people out there who are picky, this is a good thing. There are many positive outcomes why this process would work for the United States. This mandatory military system will teach us life skills, keep us physically and mentally fit, and raise patriotism and educational standards in the U.S. This method has many benefits to help our country and our people themselves. An example of this is that from just getting the training from the military, people will learn practical life skills such as first aid, wilderness survival, computer efficiency, and self-defense. As stated by Armstrong Williams, our generation produces teenagers who are more and more brazen, disrespectful, and lazy, and ill-qualifies for success in the real world. Working hard in the military will help soldiers discipline themselves, follow orders, think on their feet, and lead their peers. These are all actions that will help you succeed in life. Other benefits include helping society, the workplace, and the family, all which are important aspects in life. Being physically and mentally fit is another big benefit for mandating military involvement. For example, troubled teens that normally head to street corners when enter the military and receive the training, discipline, and experience that propel them to a stable and secure life. They would unite with people of all sexes, races, and religions to work toward a common good. This allowed neighborhoods to become safer and a society to become stronger. The workforce gets better workers, families get better mothers and fathers, and the country gets a more unified citizenship. In addition, training is a huge element of the military. It's the job of the training instructors and drill instructors to either adjust your attitude to a military way of thinking, for example, self-discipline, sacrifice, loyalty, and obedience, or to drum you out before the military spends too much money on your training. They do this by applying significant degrees of physical and mental stress, while at the same time teaching you the fundamentals of military rules and the policies, etiquette, and customs of your particular military service. Although what I have just stated might sound like weeks of turmoil and hardships, the training programs are scientifically and mentally designed to tear apart the civilian and build from scratch a proud, physically fit, and dedicated member of the United States Armed Forces. Because people would be required to become physically fit in order to survive in the military, obesity levels in America would drop, causing medical problems associated with it to drop. Furthermore, Americans would be near possible to surprise because they would all be knowledgeable of combat techniques. No one would dare attempt an invasion because every man, woman, and child would know how to defend themselves. After going through the basic training, people would be required to serve at least 1 year in the armed forces. In that amount of time, they get to travel the world learning about other cultures and world events. They gain a wealth of knowledge from their travels. They learn that the rest of the world does not have it as well as we do, and to not take our great nation for granted. They carry this knowledge about world events and cultures with them to teach their children, making the world less America-centric to Americans. Cindy and I believe this method would help the United States in so many possible ways. We would become less ignorant of the world around us, fewer people would burn flags and take America for granted, American government would be less likely to jump into a war, the children would not be lost educationally, and schools would receive better funding. Obesity levels would drop dramatically, reducing health problems associated with unhealthy lifestyle. America would become stronger and mentally and physically due to a chain of events created by making military service mandatory. Thank you, and vote affirmative.